Welcome to Land Academy. I'm Jack Butala.
I'm Jill Dewit.
We show you how to buy real estate for half of what it's worth.
And sell it on the internet really fast.
We are Jack and Jill,
and this is the Jack and Jill Show too.
With over 15,000 completed transactions, we're the experts at acquiring property.
Of all kinds, not just land.
For half price and flipping them for way more.
All right, let's get this show started.
Jack Butala with Jill DeWitt.
Hi.
Welcome to the show today. In this episode, Jill and I talk about 3 reasons why you really shouldn't complete a deal no matter how good it is. And with some stories, I hope, too, Jill.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Okay. Brandon asks, I'm wanting to set up LetterStream so that it sends out letters automatically through an API using Podio. Has anyone done this? I know it can be done using Podio and Click-to-Mail or Lobe. I don't know, Lobe. But can it be done with LetterStream?
Thank you so much for asking this question, Brandon.
Super cool.
The answer is heck yes. We are about to launch offers2owners.com. It's offers the number 2 owners.com. And it essentially puts a tremendous amount of old school service back into doing an offer
Mailer.
campaign. Yeah. So it turns out this is a bottleneck for a lot of people, and we want to solve it. So we have hired a full-time person with an 800 number. You call them and you ask questions just like this, and then we help you through it right on the phone. We help you with your mail merge. Excuse me. We help you with whatever it is that's stopping you from an IT or tech standpoint, or any reason really, from sending out a mailer. And this is a LetterStream. One of the reasons that we chose LetterStream is they are 21st century capable of doing exactly what you're trying to do. And we've been testing it, and it's working great. So we can and will help you, Brandon. Thank you for asking. Launch date? Soon.
Exactly.
If you have a question or you want to be on the show, reach out to either one of us on landinvestors.com. Today's topic, 3 reasons why you wouldn't complete a deal no matter how good it is. This is the meat of the show.
There's actually 30, but we're trying to narrow it down to 3 today.
I have to be honest.
There's a lot.
Jill and I were having kind of a reminiscent, walk down memory lane laughing scenario before the show, because we were talking about all the deals that we haven't completed for reasons where something, it set us off.
Right.
Either one of us or both of us. Sometimes it's the seller's attitude. Sometimes it's the escrow officer's attitude.
Sometimes it's Jack's attitude. Let's be honest. There's people that it just happens, rub you the wrong way. And no, I'm just not just you. I mean, theoretical you,
I am extremely good at overreacting to certain situations.
You think? No. Jack, you're the most calm, even-tempered, mellow person I know. And I know if you ask any one of our staff, they will say, Jack, he's a pussycat.
Oh, Jill.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
You're a barrel of laughs, too, all the time.
Oh.
You're perfectly behaved at work, by the way.
You are being silly. Where are you going with that one? So, at least
Back to the topic.
Thank you.
What, in recent history, have you killed any deals because, even though they're really good deals?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, one in particular, just 2 months ago, I was all excited about this multi-unit transaction, but it was taking too long. And I was getting, I'm like, what's the holdup? I'm standing around, and, I was ready to, it was funny because it was me, buyer, seller. We negotiated the deal. We're happy with it. Escrow agent dragging her feet. I'm like, all right, this is taking too long. And then at the very bitter end, I find out that he changed the deal, took some properties out that I wanted.
So that's deal number 1, and that sends me to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
If you agree in writing, you sign a purchase agreement and says we're going to close the deal in 30 days as a seller. Our staff runs around to make sure that we make good on these on what we say. So sellers and escrow agents materially change the deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I got personally involved in this, and I'm not ashamed to say I blew my top.
I thought about it too. I looked at the list. I'm like, so he obviously decided, no, I'm going to keep these. He was selling his whole portfolio. I'm like, you know what? And here's the deal. I was agreeing to buy some things I didn't necessarily want, but it was part of the whole portfolio. I'm good with it. I'll make it work.
When you have a multi-unit deal, invariably, some properties are better than the others, some are not as good, and some, really you just put up with.
Right.
And so you don't just cherry pick the 5 best that are off the top.
Right. This is part
and
of the
then
deal.
Still close a deal for the same amount.
Right. And then he
No
pulled
way.
some out. I'm like, yeah, nope, not happening. And it was taking too long at that point. I'm like, that's all I needed. See ya.
I look back on that now, Jill, and I wonder if he instructed the escrow agent to intentionally drag her feet.
Maybe that could have been too.
Because we got assigned that escrow agent. That was one of the contingencies in the
True.
deal.
He liked that person.
Yeah.
So you know what? Now he has no deal.
So
That's what
yeah,
can
I wonder.
happen. So that's the thing too. You need to know it's not just for the buyer, as a seller. You don't want to do this stuff because the deal will fall apart on you too.
So one of the reasons is the deal materially changes. Once you sign the purchase agreement, that's kind of it in my mind. We've all agreed. And then if it materially changes along the way,
This is not cool.
there's one institutional buyer who's no longer in this market anymore, any longer probably for this reason. It was famous for, on the day of closing, changing the price. So if we one deal I did was a very large deal, more than 7 digits, and it came down to a price per unit of like $1,200 a lot or some number like that. And he said, no, I'm not going to sign the deal. The price is now, as a seller, he was actually the buyer. I'm now going to buy the properties for $800. And this is like 2 hours before the wire transfer. Mm-hmm. So I ended up doing the deal because it still was a fantastic deal, but turns out Jill and I have a podcast with several tens of thousands, probably 100,000 listeners. And it's fun to talk about stuff like that when it happens.
Okay, so we did number 1. Did you get number 2?
Yeah, I will. If you miss something in due diligence as a buyer, and this happens all the time, don't knock yourself around over it. Happened in healthcare deals all the time when we did them. If you miss something during your due diligence, namely access or lack of access, sometimes you have to close a deal. There's a contingency in every one of our transactions that, did I say close a deal or kill the deal?
You said close, you mean kill. Yeah.
So if you find something out halfway through the transaction that it's like,
Whoops.
Now it just killed the value of this deal.
Right.
Really, if you find something out where it no longer is economically feasible for you to buy this thing, then get the heck out of it. Mm-hmm. With commercial property, if you find out there's an issue with environmental, long-term care facilities, for example, which is where I cut my teeth a lot of years ago. Sometimes they're in rural locations and they have heating oil tanks under them that are even the current owner doesn't know about. But if we found out about it, that was a reason to kill the deal immediately.
Mm-hmm. So that's number 2. You find out something that you missed before and it's a deal killing issue, then it's okay. Get out.
Exactly. And then the third reason, and Jill knows all about this, and this is the most disappointing for me, is that at some point during the deal you find out, probably because the seller didn't tell you the truth, that the darn thing's not conveyable.
Right.
And maybe it's a lot of times they don't even know. The seller themselves, that might be the kids or the grandchildren.
Right.
And they read a will and it says, well, what do you mean? Grandma left me everything. Well, it's still in Grandma's name, man. She can't sign it. So are there ways around this? Absolutely. We talk about them on our Thursday weekly call all the time. You can get lawyers involved. You can learn how to quiet title property yourself, or depending on where you're in the country, it's called a lot of different things. Adverse possession. So, but then the question is, and Jill brought this up, and rightfully so, there's a point where you could make a lot of money. It's just taking too much time.
Right. So that's what I look at it. When these things happen, I go, all right, this is going to take me a week. All right, it's going to take me a week for this one deal. How much money am I talking? All right, if I ditch it, I do 10 deals. Will I make more money on these easy ones? Heck yeah. Then I have to let the other one go.
So what do you mean, Jill? How do you know there's 10 more deals to do?
Because I'm staring at them.
Because we sent a
lot of mail, and I'm staring at it. I mean, that's the reality. If you don't have enough deals, just send more offers. That's easy.
That's right.
We were talking about that the other day. One of our members had, I don't know if I read it in landinvestors.com or if I got an email. I don't remember, but it was kind of a funny joke. It was like, it works. Who knew? They were being sarcastic and funny. It was really cute. And it's great. I'm like, it does. If you need more deals, you just send out more offers and you can review those deals and pick the ones you want there. So that's what happens. And that's what's really funny too. I'm like, I might be halfway down the path working on a transaction and some deal comes in that's even better. I'm like, all right, okay, I need to finish this one because I want to get to that one because I really want to get that one. So there you go.
Well said.
Thank you.
There's always another deal.
There really
I don't care
is.
how it took me years to learn that. I'm just so disappointed sometimes because there's just nothing you can do. Or it's, you brought up earlier too, before the show, you know, we get deals in here all the time from people because of this silly podcast. People contact us and say, hey, do you want to buy a marina? Do you want to buy an apartment building? We get the apartment building one a lot. And it's sometimes they're smoking great deals. And I have trained myself now, as hard as it is, to just say no. It's not that I necessarily want to do the deal, because it's really, I personally don't like apartment buildings as an investment. But boy, if I spent, I don't know, 12 hours because of this show, I know who's going to buy it. So, but we're not licensed agents. I mean, so it is, I just have to say no and kind of walk away.
Well, there's a reason not to complete a deal.
It's like, you know, if somebody hands you a 30-year-old glass of scotch and it's all at the right time and everything, and you have to say no, it's that same feeling.
I can't imagine you turning that down ever. Why would you ever say no?
Right. Actually, I would stop what I'm doing, even if it is a real estate deal, and probably do that with whoever it is.
Exactly.
Well said.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Join us in another episode where Jack and Jill discuss how to use information, that's me,
And inspiration, that's me.
just about anything you want.
We use it every day to buy property for half of what it's worth and sell it immediately.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. If you hear noises in the background, it's because the windows in our studio on the beach are open and they're beach noises. You should be happy.
It's warm today. It's nice today.
Did we cover all three?
I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah, that was good. There's probably, like I said, there's 30. There's a lot of reasons it's not your criteria. You know, I mean, there's all kinds of things that you could think of, but we wanted to hit some different ones and big ones and just make sure everybody knows. For me, I want to make sure everybody knows it's okay.
So
you can pass on a deal. You don't, just because you send an offer and they sign it and send it back, you don't have to buy it. If it sucks, don't buy it.
If you're more than 3 months, as an investor, if you're more than 3 months into this, after sending consistent mailers, you already know what we're talking about. You know, it's those first months, those very first, let's say the first 10 deals where you sit there and you stare in the mirror and you say, I got to make this work. I got to make this work. I have to prove this concept to myself that it actually works.
Right.
And, but if you get piles of mail on top, piles of mail back,
Right.
and phone calls, then you realize, now I don't.
Yeah, then you're going to get real picky, and it's a good thing.
Exactly. So ballpark, just without even thinking about it, Joe, how many times, I mean, of all the deals that we get in from mailers only, how many close as a percentage?
Oh my gosh.
80%, 50%, 1%?
Okay, of the
willing sellers.
offers coming back.
Let me put it this way.
Well,
Ones that make it into our
Well, let me.
properties that make it into our database,
Oh, well,
not just phishing calls.
they all get in the. Okay, how do I say this? Our criteria has changed, so my percentage has changed. Because this is the reality right
I think
now.
this is good for a listener.
Yeah, because some of the properties that are coming back now. I mean, I have a list from when the calls come in, like of no's, because it's just too small. I don't nothing. If it's a property, you know, below a couple $1,000s, and there's certain areas, I don't want them. I mean, I've moved on. I'm doing much bigger deals. So of those that come back, a pretty high number of our new transactions. If we're hitting the right people, which we usually are, we're pretty much going to close those.
Right.
So. Does that answer the question?
No.
Oh.
And it was a trick question because I actually ran the numbers before.
I don't know then. I don't know.
I agree with you. The two small deals, there's a lot, but
yeah,
the deals that fit our criteria and we know we can double our money and it's real fast and it's not a lot of work, about 75 to 80% close.
Right.
And the ones that don't close are really for the reasons that we outlined in the show. And it's mostly because we find out of those reasons, really, in the end, it comes down to we find out somebody's passed away. We can't get the deal done easily enough. And
Right.
We're actually working
That's
on it.
usually, that's more likely the problem, you're right. Less than access and things like that. I can work around stuff. We can make access.
Those are the first deals that'll go into landcrowdfund.com, by the way. The ones that are just too small, but they're too small for us, but it's somebody else's really fantastic first 10 deal. One out of the first 10 deals.
Yep.
Information and inspiration to buy undervalued property.
We are Jack and Jill, and this was the Cash Flow from Land Show.
We are the experts at acquiring property
Of all kinds, not just land,
for half price, just so we can flip it for way more.
and really fast. Thanks for listening.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.